Hello, I'm Brian Lowe, and this is Tom Sawyer. And
go ahead and laugh, get it over with.
And today we're going to tell you a story. And I thought rather than tell a story through slides, we would show you a story online as it occurred, as it happened. And the story is about Tom. Tom is one man, and this is a story about one man, but it's also a story about his community. And ultimately, it's a story about us all, because we are all patients. And I think when you see what happened and you hear Tom's story, you'll be able to imagine this happening to you and what could happen if you're part of a community. So I'll pull it up on the web and we'll look at what happened. Just give me one moment here.
I'll just start in by letting you know I'm not going to belabor the whole story of my TSA adventure because it doesn't quite fit with what we're trying to really accomplish. So just briefly, I'm a bladder cancer survivor. I had battled bladder cancer for 15 years, thought I had beat the little war, and it didn't happen that way, and I had to have a radical cystectomy with an ileal conduit. Lots of complications. And my wife and I had to fly to Florida for a family emergency, and as long as we had to go for a week, we decided to take our friends Bob and Pam. Bob was facing a huge lung cancer surgery, and we wanted to take him to Florida to get healthy before his surgery. He died 2 weeks ago. When I went through Detroit Metropolitan Airport, I hadn't been to an airport since they started the new security screenings. And I got chosen for a pat-down, and I had the wherewithal to say, I want the pat-down done privately, and they did. And when we got in to do the pat-down, I said, I have a medical condition. They said, it doesn't matter. And I said, yeah, it does matter. No, really, it doesn't matter. Just, we're going to pat you down, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no. And so they started their pat-down, and they started going down my chest. And before I knew it, they pulled my urostomy seal off. So I'm covered in urine at Detroit Metropolitan Airport and couldn't do anything about it until we got on the plane, and I could use the restroom in the plane to go in, clean up, change my appliance, and go to Florida. I carried around a lot of anger all week long. I couldn't do anything about it because we had company with us, and our mission in Florida was more of a supportive mission for me. When I came home, I immediately got on Inspire's Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network board. Inspire's little moniker is Together We're Better. Well, together indeed. I posted what had happened to me, and immediately, within 30 minutes, there were listings after listings and postings after postings that I had to do something. I couldn't just let this lay. I had to do something. So I wrote up the story, and one of the people on the board that I was very good friends with edited it, and they encouraged me to blog it on the major news stations. So I blogged it on MSNBC.
Now pause for a moment, and why don't I just pause for a moment, and why don't I show sort of as it happened, your first post and how people responded. So I'll just start at where you began a moment ago, which is this is what you originally wrote, bad experience at airport, beware. And you describe your flight. And then, as you can see, there were 55 replies, and they happened very rapidly. They just flew in. So absolutely disgraceful. I hope you're putting a complaint in, disappointing news, this is horrible, this is terrible. And then I would be writing a letter for sure, and this is where it becomes interesting. I hope you complain loud and long. A lot of people sort of urging you on and saying, do something. Someone here even says, I hate to sound so blunt, but you are obliged on behalf of other patients to file a formal complaint. So go on.
And it was Cher's comment that I was obliged that made me think, yeah, I guess I am obliged. I can't just let this go. I've got to do something. I've been given a voice. I've got to do something. So we wrote the letter up.
And take a look at this. So you wrote a draft, which is what we're looking at here.
This was the draft I wrote.
That's right.
And a wonderful person rewrote the whole thing for me. It went on MSNBC, and a wonderful newscaster named Harriet Baskus picked it up on Saturday morning and called me at home and asked for a picture of me. And I said, sure, I'll give you a picture. She said, I'd like to put it on the internet. Then she called me back and she said, have you checked the internet lately? And I No. And she said, why don't you look right now? Well, there I am, front page on MSNBC, my picture this big. And I'll just tell you what I said. I said, oh, shit. I did. I didn't know what to do. I just knew something was going to happen. Within seconds, the phone started ringing. It was more than I could even account for. And finally, my son-in-law called me and informed me, do you understand that you're the #1 most read story right now on the internet, the entire internet?
Take a look at this. You actually wrote on November 20th, your phone is ringing off the hook, you're being called by all the networks. And then what was really neat was everyone in the community who had urged you to write this letter just went crazy, you know. Go for it, thumbs up, cheering you on. And it was the most activity we'd ever seen in the bladder cancer community. Go on, continue.
Invest has the most wonderful boards. I'll tell you, if it wasn't for Invest, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have gone to Washington, D.C. But as these wonderful people started cheering me on, you've got to do something, you've got to do something, I kept typing, oh my God, my phone's ringing, and this person's called me, and that person's called me, I don't know what to do. And then my son-in-law called me and said, you're coming downstate. We live in Houghton Lake, Michigan. My son-in-law is a lawyer, my daughter's a social worker. They live 2 hours from us. So I promised them I would take my phone off the hook, get in my car, drive downstate. My wife was already downstate. And we need to give you a little bit of what it was like when I got downstate. So if you will.
Have a seat.
My son-in-law set it up on our phones. We had 4 phones. And he put a message on, if you're calling about Tom Sawyer and his TSA adventure, please call. And he gave the 4 cell phone numbers. My son-in-law acted as my manager. We were laughing, which was really fun because I could order him around. August, bring me a beer, you know. My wife just was the overall organizer. My daughter made the time schedules, as we found out we were going to have a time schedule of all of these interviews. And I acted as me. And here's an idea, if you want to know what my 72 hours were like. Hello, August, it's CNN. They want to be here at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. What? Yeah, oh, they're bringing, Fox News is going to be there with them, and it's going to be live. Somebody named Joe Coffee in the morning, something. Yeah, he's going to do me live. Okay. What, honey? You're kidding me. Matt Lauer? Hello? Well, hi, Matt. Yes. Well, I don't know. I'm really not in a position right now to fly into New York. I don't know if I really can fly right now. August, can I fly to New York? No, my son-in-law says I can't fly to New York. We've got CNN coming in on Monday morning, but maybe I could come in on Tuesday. Just a minute. Just hang on a minute, Matt. What, Sherry? Rush Limbaugh? Oh, hang up. Okay, no. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, Matt. Maybe my daughter will call you back. She's on another line. If you can just hang on, my daughter will call you back because I've got another call coming in from the ACLU. Okay, yeah. Hi, no, I'm not interested in suing anybody. No, I never said I was suing anybody. No, I can't talk right now. I've got another call coming. Senator Stabenow, Debbie, how are you? Yes, I'm fine. It's good talking to you again. Yes, I know. Okay, just a minute. My wife's, what, honey? Angelina Jolie? Oh my God, give her my phone number. Oh, you were just kidding. Oh, never mind. It's Inspire. Tom, it's Inspire on the phone. Somebody by the name of Brian. Oh, okay, I'll take it. Hi, Brian, how are you? I know, it's just crazy. You just can't believe what's going on. Oh, you're following it all. I know, everybody on Beacon, I've got my computer right here with me, and people are just rooting me on, but I don't know what I'm going to do. My God, I've just got so many people. They're just calling, and I'm just going crazy. Just a minute. Hang on. It's Tom, it's your sister again. Tell her to quit calling. I don't have time for it. Yes. At the door? Oh, it's the Detroit Free Press. They're at the front door. Okay, just a minute. Hello? Yes? You're with whom? You were former Miss America, and you're with Fox News. Yeah. Well, I think Fox News is coming tomorrow, or Monday at 5. Right. Gretchen? No, I haven't ever heard of you. Hello? Hello? Oh, no, she hung up. Do you know someone, Tom, do you know anybody by the name of John Pistol? Oh my God, yes, John Pistol's the head of the TSA. He's on the phone, he wants to talk to you. That was a pretty much true story.
And
that was just a short. You've got to imagine this going on for 48 straight hours. I had calls from Japan, Paris, Tokyo, England, Brazil. It just went on and on and on. The phone call from John Pistol was that John Pistol invited me to come to Washington, D.C. I'm sure that someone called John Pistol and told him, make this go away. And I think he was thinking I was going to say, no, that won't be necessary. And I said, oh, I'd love to come. When would you like me? And it led to a consortium meeting in Washington, D.C. And because of the wonderful people at Inspire, the empowerment, I used to hate that word empowerment. Everybody used it. For the first time in my life, I really realized I had been empowered. And it was bigger than myself. It was no longer about me. I was a voice for people with medical disabilities that needed to travel and should never have to go through what I went through. So we got to the TSA meeting in Washington, D.C. in the Pentagon. There were 20 stakeholders there. And literally, it was a 1-hour meeting that turned into 4.5. And we sat and told the TSA what people all over the United States with medical disabilities were going through just to travel. And this guy sitting right here from Houghton Lake, Michigan, who's a retired teacher, with the help of Inspire and a whole lot of people on the Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network Board, changed public policy. It can happen. That's the power of an online medical community. Together, we're better.
Stay. Stay here. So, Tom's a hero. He didn't ask to be one. And the day that it all happened, if you read his entire post, he was telling a story. And I think so much of what happens is storytelling. Tom came back, he was angry, had a lot of emotion. He told his story, and it was the support of others that helped embolden him. And he ended up being a wonderful spokesman for this, and has continued to be. There was a lot of aftermath where many people, I think because people discover this in searches, gets lots of people sort of asking what they should do and on an ongoing basis. You've become sort of, the TSA poster child for this. But I mean, one or two other things to think about. Most of the work we do every day in the health communities is about finding targeted patient populations and understanding how medications work and the progression of their disease and all of that. But this is very much a part of being a patient as well. And we are all patients. We all have experiences like this. And one message that I hope comes through loud and clear is that the value in a community like this comes from the members themselves. It's not from anyone else. The Bladder Cancer Advocacy Network is necessary but not sufficient. That's a nonprofit that does great work. Inspire is necessary, but again, not sufficient. It's the activity of all of the members. And they're doing that because they want to, not because anyone is paying them or asking them to. And finally, one more thought that Tom and I have talked about a lot lately is that a big change that I see, and I think we can all see, is that since the advent of this sort of media, we search 24 hours a day. We search day and night. We search for whatever we want. We don't ask permission, and we don't wait for authority. And that does not mean that we disrespect established medical communities, but it means that we're not waiting for that. And so I think people have become very good at, it's not either or, it's not user-generated feedback or authoritative medical information. It's that people use both and they know when to do so appropriately. As patients, we are impatient, and I think we all benefit from this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.